What just happened there? I got like a shock of electricity when you got close to me. It's just you. Welcome back to Matriarch Astrology. In today's video, we are going to be talking about Venus through the zodiac signs. Venus in astrology represents our love and our partnerships and what we want in love, also material things and sensual pleasures. And Venus can give you a lot of information if you do know what sign it's in. So we're going to start off first with Venus in the sign of Aries. So Venus in this placement is at its fall because it is in the opposite sign of Libra in the natural wheel. So what we're definitely going to see here is a passion and drive, especially when this person wants to pursue someone that they're interested. They're going to have that Mars energy. This is the Martian here that's going to want to go after the person that they're interested in a very direct and more forceful manner. That doesn't mean like abusive or anything. It's just more of that Aries energy, which is quick action and just really straightforward. So here we're going to see more impulsive and spontaneous in relationships. Also, we could see jumping from relationship because there may be a tendency to get bored here. So Venus in Aries is going to have this intensity because they are going to want to pursue their person that they're interested in, and very powerful and intense energy, especially right in the beginning. So just be careful here because this energy may like more of the chasing aspect of the relationship and trying to pursue that courting energy. But then once they're in it, there can be a tendency to, like I said earlier, get bored, and they just like that energy of the chase. So that's something to just keep in mind here. It all depends on aspects and house placement and other things. They're just more into the chase and then not much of the staying power, at least not for a really long time. Again, depends. So next up we have Venus in the sign of Taurus. So here we have elegance and sensuality coming in together. Venus is at home here in the sign of Taurus. So people with this placement are going to love beauty, art, just like sensual things. Also could be material things. They also may have a tendency to enjoy the expensive, finer things in life. So like really good eating at fancy restaurants, going to very nice bougie places. We're also going to see with this energy very loyal and fixed staying power because this is a fixed sign. So once they're committed, they are really loyal and they are in it for the long run. People with the sign of Venus and Taurus are really going to put an emphasis and importance on stability and security. There also may be a strong connection to nature and earth here because this is an earth sign. So getting out in nature or having plants inside the home, especially if they're like in a relationship, I think that bringing in the elements into the home of earth and just making it look like earth tone is something that's really gonna be pleasing to people with Venus in the sign of Taurus. These people may prefer beauty, fashion, or the arts or makeup as a possible career, but really this isn't about the career, but that's a one indication when we're looking at career. But in general, we're just talking about relationship here. And lastly, people with Venus and Taurus will provide comfort and security to their partners because again, they really value loyalty and stability, and they're also going to give that in return to their partners. Next up, we have Venus in the sign of Gemini. So this placement with Venus and Gemini may be very communicative and curious in love. They are going to prefer intelligent and engaging type of relationships. So they're going to want a partner that can keep up with them mentally, and they're going to want to be able to share ideas back and forth with their partner. That's going to be very important that they have a mental connection with their partner. So just a little warning sign, this placement may be prone to infidelity. I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger, guys. Okay, there's just probably a little bit of issues here with commitment. However, they're going to want to make romance very fun and pleasurable and enjoying. Again, this is very stimulating. So they're going to want to have fun in the relationship and do a lot of things because again, they want to stay mentally stimulated. So taking their partners out to meet their friends and doing things, engaging with their partner. But again, instead of doing things like one-on-one, I see Venus and Gemini wanting to take their partners over to like go over to my friend's house, and my friends are having a party, so we're gonna go over here. It's very like social. They're gonna want to be still around other groups of people, but with their partner. Could be also that they want to be alone instead of with their partner, but if they do feel like their partner can keep up with them mentally and stimulate them, then they're gonna want to tag them along. So if you know someone with Venus in the sign of of Gemini, or if you are in a relationship with one, communication is going to be the utmost important thing in this relationship if we want it to last. Similar to Venus and Aries, the chasing and the flirtation energy of the relationship and the courting is really going to be of interest to Venus and Gemini people. And also, this placement may prefer a partner with different points of view than them, not to get into like argument or combativeness, but they're going to want somebody with like different perspectives, because that's going to be able to keep them mentally engaged, that they're able to banter back and forth in a good way, a positive way with their partner. Keeps them stimulated. Okay, so next up we have Venus in the sign of Cancer. This is the lunar energy here, so we are looking here at more of an emotional sign and also intuitive, connective. We're talking about feminine energy here. Regardless of masculine, feminine, this is more of a feminine energy. So the person with Venus and Cancer are going to be very intuitive towards their partner. So here we're going to see a strong emotional bond towards the home and also family. People with Venus and Cancer are kind and nurturing partners. They're going to want to take care of their significant other. This could be by baking them something, or if they see that their partner is sick, they're going to want to make them a soup or a tea or anything. This is very nurturing type of energy. Think of the mother, the fourth house. So they're going to be very intuitively inclined and empathic towards their partner, and always picking up on what their partner is feeling. So here we're going to see a prioritization towards emotional security in the relationship. These people are going to need to feel safe emotionally with their person that they are with. They need to be able to really trust you and feel safe with you. This placement may find a love also of art within the home, or a specific type of like feminine, more softer type of fashion, and especially if it's interior design, because again, we're taking that back to the fourth house of home. So having a really beautiful home and making it feel nurturing and safe is going to be top priority for them, and they're going to want to build that with their partner, a very nurturing and safe home. There also may be the ones who provide that in the home to their partner, so they're going to want to have comfy blankets, really soothing smells and scents, and having something baking or cooking for their partner. Again, it really depends on a lot of aspects, which I don't go into in these videos, so this is very general. A lot of things could change this depending on aspects and house placement, but to keep it very broad, that is the main energy here of wanting to have a very safe and nurturing home for their partner. And this is more of like the homebody type of energy, people who prefer to be at home with their partners, watching Netflix and chill with some pizza. Okay, next we have Venus in the sign of Leo. Here we have the sun energy. So Venus is passionate, expressive, and creative. So they're going to want to have a partner that can keep up with them and have that energy as well. People with this placement are typically self-assured, friendly, and giving to their partners, and they're also going to expect that back from their partner. So these people are definitely going to want their partner to admire them, whether they say it or not. And I'm not saying that all of them will, but this is the energy here that we see most likely, is that they're going to want their partner to show them off. Like if they're going at a work gathering, meet type of thing, they're going to want to really dress nice and want their partner to be like, this is the person I'm with, you know, just really showing them off. And they are of course going to dress nicely themselves, don't get me wrong, they know how to dress themselves really good and look good. They don't need to demand the attention of the room, but having their partner do that for them is going to be just like top notch, because Venus in Leo does tend to prefer and love that lavish and generous, those big grand gestures, and they're going to want their partner to do that for them. And it could be possible, another indication or another manifestation could be that they may want their partner to buy them really nice things. Again, aspects here, guys, but in general could want their partner to buy them nice things and really go all out for them. A big dinner, a surprise dinner, or just set something up for them. They are really going to love that. Those will be like brownie points if you're dating a Venus in Leo person. Also, this sign can be jealous or possessive if they feel that their partner is getting distracted or not paying too much attention to them. They may tend to navigate or lean that way towards jealousy or some possessiveness, so be careful with that. And also, this sign can express themselves through art, design, makeup, and fashion, so just keep that in mind, as well as a possible creative outlet if you have Venus in the sign of Leo. Okay, next up we have Venus in Virgo. So here we're going to see that Mercury analytical type of energy here. This person can tend to nitpick a bit at their partner, or just nitpick things because they want things to be perfect and they do want the best for their partner. So they may want to try to improve things for their partner, and it can come off a bit as demanding or criticizing. So just make sure that it doesn't lean that way, because it can easily lean that way where you're trying to be helpful, but it ends up being that your partner takes it as if you're being critical of them. So this sign is going to favor simplicity and good functioning over extravagant things. The opposite to, I would say, Venus and Leo. So this sign is not going to want to have a bunch of lavish things. They're going to want something with purpose in the home. And if it doesn't bring purpose, or anything that somebody buys them, if it doesn't bring them like a sense of purpose, then they may not want that. So if you are planning on gifting them something, gift them something that they're gonna benefit from, like in their day-to-day lives. The possible love language possible here, guys, would be, I feel, acts of service. So if you can help them in any type of way, I think that'll go good with people who have Venus in the sign of Virgo. But I would also take that with a grain of salt, because you could maybe get them something that they feel they don't need. They could just want to do it themselves and not want somebody to try to do it for them. So really just kind of go by your partner. Feel your partner out and see what they may enjoy, and just try to see if they may be open to receiving a gift that can help them. So people with the sign of Venus in Virgo are going to take a practical, analytical approach to relationships, more serious minded, because this is earth energy. So they're going to want a partner who is also at their level. So a partner who's serious, who's hardworking, who's determined. And if you're organized, that's even better. I would say, just my opinion, that a good compatibility for Venus Virgo would be other earth Venuses or water Venuses. But grain of salt, you guys, as always. I feel like I have to have a giant thing that says grain of salt every time I give any type of these little snippets. One thing to keep in mind here is that the emotion and the way they express their emotions may be more cold and guarded. This isn't a sign that's going to be overly emotional, depending on aspects. So don't expect a super sensitive, like maybe Cancer or Pisces, or maybe even Scorpio, depending. So just keep that in mind. They may tend to analyze their emotions more than they express them out. All right, next up we have Venus in the sign of Libra, another placement where it is at home. Now Libra is the natural ruler of the 7th house. So here, especially if she is in the 7th, that is beautiful and wonderful, because that is right at home. Here we're going to see a very charming, diplomatic, and social person. They are going to value beauty, art, and balance within relationships. So making sure that they feel like you two are equal partners, that you're able to communicate with each other, is going to be really important to people with Venus in Libra. One thing to keep in mind here is that they may lack decisiveness, or also their boundaries may be a bit weak, again, depending on aspects. But I think that's something to always keep in mind with this placement, is that they may avoid conflict or have a fear of conflict, and that may lead to overstepping of boundaries. This placement can also possibly idealize their partner in relationships. So that's something to keep in mind as well. If you have this placement, one, that you have strong boundaries and that you're not afraid of conflict, even though I know that it's important to keep the peace. It's also important to keep your own inner peace and make sure that you're always setting really strong boundaries and not being afraid of confrontation, because peace at all costs is not always the best approach. Here we may see a longing for companionship. So this person may not want to be alone. I think this is similar to Venus and Gemini, but I feel like this Venus in Libra is more serious about companionship. Gemini just doesn't like to be alone because they need like that mental stimulation. But Venus in Libra is wanting that companionship with the other person. So there can be possible jumping from relationship to relationship pretty quickly. Not to say that it's because we're being reckless. It's just more like always wanting to have that companionship with another person, a deep connective bond. Also, we may see a tendency here to put the other partner on a pedestal, put other people first. So that's something that we want to be aware of and make sure that we are avoiding, and making sure that the relationship is balanced and that we're equal partners here. So I'm not trying to be too hard on Venus and Libra people. I have someone very close to me that has Venus and Libra, so that's something that's really close to me, and I'm making sure that I'm always letting that person know to always have strong boundaries and make sure that you're not being overstepped in a relationship. Here we're also going to see another elegance and luxurious energy similar to Venus and Virgo, but this one may be a little bit more just liking to have nice things in the home, and also dressing really nice, makeup, possible career in makeup, or just like type of fashion is another indication. But again, that's another story, another energy, which I will do in another video, so stay tuned for that one. Next up, we have Venus in the sign of Scorpio. People with Venus in the sign of Scorpio are going to be very intense and passionate about their partners. They also are going to value honesty, and that is, I say, the number one thing with Venus and Scorpio is do not lie. Do not try to sneak anything past them, because they are very intuitive. They will pick up on it, and they will not trust you if they get any hint of dishonesty or any type of fuckery going on. There also can be a tendency for possessiveness and obsession here, and I'm not gonna sugarcoat it for you guys, okay? It's the truth. It's not to say that it's every single Venus and Scorpio, but it is a highly possibility, so I have to mention it, okay? Just keep that in mind. Those with Venus in the sign of Scorpio are going to be attracted to maybe a more mysterious partner, a partner who's different, and maybe even a partner who is more secluded and more just like mysterious or hidden and doesn't really, show off a lot on social media and stuff like that. They're going to want somebody that has that energy of like privacy and introspection. These people are very observant and really good at reading situations and reading their partner. So they will notice if anything is off with their partner. They're very hyper vigilant of their partner's emotions, their fluctuation of just how they're doing throughout the day, and they're going to pick up on any subtle changes or cues with their partner. So like I said, this is not a good sign to try to hide. If you're not feeling good or something, just tell your Venus and Scorpio partner, I just don't feel good, and give them the reason why. Don't have them trying to figure out. Just be open and honest with them, and like just spill it all out, because they're really going to want that from their partner. They're going to want their partner to open up completely to them so that they feel safe, because that's very important with Venus and Scorpios, that they need to feel that they can trust you. And opening up to them and being honest and just spilling it all out is really going to go a long way with those with Venus and Scorpio. And I don't think I have to say this, but I'm still going to say it. Those with Venus and Scorpio may be attracted to the occult and taboo subjects like Kama Sutra, very passionate in those type of areas. So just keep that in mind as well if you are dating a Venus and Scorpio. This Venus placement is also very protective of their family. So if they have children, they're going to be highly protective of their children and going to want to keep them very close, keep a sharp eye on them. That's just something to look out. I mean, they can be protective of their partners, but if they have children, it's going to amplify that even more. There could also be a possible indication towards a tendency to gravitate towards more intense relationship. It could be for transformational purposes. So they may want to transform themselves through relationships with their partner and through that relationship. That doesn't always mean that it has to be a bad transformation. It could just be, I want to grow with you. Like, I want to transform. Let's grow together and go through these changes together. Or it could be more of the negative side, where a lot of intensity comes out and a lot of transformation comes through difficult situations. I would say that really depends on aspects and placement. So just to keep it general, we're going to say intensity and transformation in the relationship. Okay, next up we have Venus in the sign of Sagittarius. Here we have that optimistic Jupiterian energy. They are going to want to feel free in the relationships, free to explore, free to travel. This is more of the energy that doesn't want to feel constrained by their partner. However, they may also want to do a lot with their partner, as in traveling and exploring and doing really fun things with their partner. So if you have a Venus in Sagittarius, or you're dating a Venus in Sagittarius person, this could be a really good indication of traveling with them, and they're really going to feel a sense of connection to their partner if they're able to explore and maybe like learn new languages with their partner, experience new cultures, and doing that together. I think that'll really bring in that sense of closeness closeness in the relationship without them feeling the need to constantly have their freedom. Not to say that we don't want to give it to them, but I'm just saying, if you guys are wanting to bond together, then I think that's a really good way of doing that. This placement can also indicate maybe an overly enthusiastic view of their partner, and they may be let down because their partner doesn't meet up to those expectations, so those overly optimistic expectations due to Jupiter. So just keep that in mind. And if you have this placement, also keep that in mind about your partner, not to place them or see them as more grandiose or the relationship as bigger than it actually is. Now, if they feel like their freedom is being constrained, that's where you're going to see more of a hesitation towards commitment and towards long-term relationships, because they don't want to feel that energy of constraint from their partner. So a person with Venus and Sagittarius are also going to really put a lot of emphasis and importance on communication, direct communication, open and honest communication from their partner, and they're not going to respond well, or may not respond well, to overly clingy partners. Next up, we have Venus in the sign of Capricorn. So Venus and Capricorn are going to approach love in a more grounded and practical manner. People with this placement may take love very seriously, and they're not going to want to feel like they're wasting their time in the relationship. So if they are with you, I feel like this is an indication of somebody who really sees that they can build something with you, and hopefully they are also going to feel like you are wanting the same with them, because if not, they will walk away if they don't feel like you are on their level. People with this placement focus highly on stability, commitment, and long-term planning. They may be attracted to partners who are financially stable, secure, basically partners that have their shit together, money in the bag. They don't want to feel like they are having to build someone up. They want someone that's able to do that on their own. They're not trying to babysit a partner, but they are going to be more attracted, or could be more attracted to, somebody who's already financially stable. Now, Venus and Capricorn may also prioritize work over relationships. So that's something to keep in mind, is that we want to be mindful about our partner and our partner's feelings and emotions, and making sure that we are having a balance between work and relationship and love. In general, this placement is going to bring an enhancement energy of stability, reliability in relationships, and just really bringing in that sense of security. So if you are with a person with Venus and Capricorn, you may see that. So I also wouldn't expect an overemphasis on maybe emotions, or not overly expressing that. And that doesn't mean that they don't love you. Just know that they may show it in a different way. This could be somebody that wants to give their partner something similar to the Venus and Virgo, where they want to give them something that's going to help them. So they see more practical things and wanting to buy something more practical, as opposed to something that's just lavishing and gonna sit there on the counter just to look nice. All right, next up we have Venus in the sign of Aquarius. The energy of eccentric and unusual. We have the Saturnian energy, the Uranus energy, very different. So similar to Venus and Sagittarius, independence and freedom are very important for these people in their relationships. They don't want to feel constrained by their partner, or feel like their partner is restricting them in any type of way. Also, there can be a tendency to be drawn towards partners who are different than them, like the eccentric partners, the quirky person, or maybe even like the more smart, intelligent type of partners. They're going to be attracted to that. They may also be different themselves, so their partner may see them as different and unusual and quirky and eccentric. So here we're going to see an importance placed on intellectual conversation and having similar interests. So they're going to want a partner that can stimulate them in their mind. And I think also they could be really attracted to a partner that likes weird things like them. So a partner that they can talk about aliens with, they could talk about technology with, or psychedelics, all that type of stuff. I feel like it really interests them. They need to also have that mental connection with their partner, and they also are going to want them to not always have to be on their level, but at least be open. They're going to want a partner that's open to these type of subjects. So here we're also going to see an emphasis on social fairness and equality in the relationship. So they're going to want to feel a sense of balance between each other. I don't see this as being like, oh, this is your role and this is my role. It's more like we blend together and we do our own thing our own way, and it can be different. I see them as like wanting to be a different type of relationship, not the normal. And that doesn't mean that they're not going to want the house and the kids, but they may do parenting different, or they may do their marriage different, put an emphasis on doing things together different and going traveling with the kids instead of putting a strong emphasis on having like the home and the white picket fence. They might want to travel different places and change homes like every couple of years. Also, Venus and Aquarius may want to try new things in their relationships and bring a sense of creativity and art to the relationship. However, that may manifest really depends here, but there's plenty of manifestations of this. They can want to paint with their partner or want to do maybe volunteering work with their partner, yet they're also going to be wanting that stability as well, because again, we're dealing with Saturn here. So even though this is air energy, we still have that Saturnian flair here. So they're going to want to be more secure and stable in the relationship. However, they can be more dry and maybe not express their emotions. They may tend to intellectualize their emotions and their thoughts. That's something that you want to keep in mind if you're Venus and Aquarius, to be able to connect with your partner on an intuitive and emotional level, and just try to keep that good balance in the relationship and not be so maybe detached. Just find that good balance. Okay, so last we have Venus in the sign of Pisces. This is a very dreamy and loving placement for Venus. So we're going to see more of an emphasis on creativity in the relationship and wanting really to give the partner a lot of oneself. So people with this placement are sympathetic and empathic towards their partner and really intuitive, similar to the Venus in Cancer. They're going to pick up on their partner's emotions pretty quickly and easily. We also want to look out for a tendency to maybe idealize their partner and not see their partner for who they are, depending a lot on aspects here. But this is just one possible manifestation that's really strong here, is that we may see the partner with a rose-colored glasses, because we are dealing with the 12th house energy here, Neptunian energy. So this is possibly not seeing your partner for who they really are and just making sure that you have really strong boundaries. Very similar to Venus and Libra energy, putting your feelings and your emotions also as top priority in your relationships. Also, we want to avoid playing the martyr or sacrificing yourself for relationships here. That coincides with the whole setting strong boundaries and making sure that you are finding a really healthy balance in your partnerships. This placement is also very intuitive and could lead to healing type of careers, spiritual careers, mediumship, psychic type of careers. I always say that it really depends on a lot of other aspects and indications in the chart, but that's something that I do like to mention with people with Venus and Pisces. So people with this placement are going to want to connect deeply and intuitively with their partners, and they're going to put a great importance on that in the relationship. So these people are going to put closeness and bonding on top of like physical pleasures. So they're going to find that more important, something that they really put a lot of emphasis on over like the physical stuff. And lastly, this placement is going to prefer more spiritual, intuitive, emotional partners that are able to connect with them and meet them at their level. So a partner who's maybe psychic, or a partner who's just open to spirituality. And I think that's going to be a good blend for them. So if you have that, that's like an extra for Venus and Pisces. If you are with a person with Venus and Pisces, just be open and vulnerable with them. They are really going to want their partner to be vulnerable, just open to expressing themselves emotionally to the Venus in Pisces person. So just keep that in mind if you are dating a person with Venus and Pisces. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you do, please hit the like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.